Hello everyone, I'm your host Thomas28 and welcome back to Cryogenic Simulation. So, as we left off last episode, we are starting a brand new chapter and a brand new simulation. And I should probably leave a waypoint so I know where the portal is. Portal. I should probably also bring a thingamabob. What's it called? The waystone so we can teleport. But first things first, I have to read this off camera so we can figure out what we're doing, and then I'll give you the spark note. Alright, so this chapter seems pretty straightforward. It's essentially the chapter where we gather, that is not a word, gather resources and set up some basic automation to help us in the future. And these cute cuddly guys are very dangerous. Oh my, okay, they have really big range. What is that? I'm poisoned for 12 seconds. Okay, those guys are annoying. Their range is huge. I mean, I guess it's supposed to simulate, you know, they're jabbing me with their thing. What's it called? Stinger. But that's annoying. Wonder if there's a way to get around that. Anyway, so we're coming to this tower here because this is all stuff we can harvest. Blazes. What the? What's that sound? You heard that, right? What is that? I see the blazes. I have no idea what's making the other sound, though. Is it this thing? The evil-looking blaze? Oh, is that a basalt? It might be a basalt. Let's see. I should be able to disable all of these. Actually, we could just cheese it, come out on the back here. Yeah, it's a basalt spawner. Interesting. Does that turn it off? Not actually sure. Guess we'll find out. But these towers are full of a lot of useful loot. Are these shulkers? Oh, there's a shulker spawner in here too. Okay, that's annoying. Oh, and there's nothing here blocking it. Let me block that myself. Okay, good to know. Okay, it is a basalt. I never heard them before. I didn't realize they sound like that. But at least they're trapped in this ineffable glass cage, which is really nice. Okay, there's two how did I jump on this? What the heck? Well, that's gonna make getting the items difficult, but I can harvest the entire outside of the tower, which is pretty nice. But there must be an easy way to clear all these out, and there's another one over there. Well, as long as they stay up there, that's good. I can harvest the whole bottom side real quick. Oh, I'm gonna need silk touch for this, I forgot. Okay, so hardened glass, that's really useful. Let's check out the loot chest. Okay, that's gonna save us a lot of time. Those are very good. Let's see, what about a drum full of oil? Cool. Never actually used oil drums. Let's see, more hardened glass, oil, heavy engineering blocks, and engineering blocks. I do need to slay all the stuff up here though, but there's so many, what are they called? Elementals, that they're gonna body me really easily. Okay, if I can just do that. Just pop out like a whack-a-mole. And I think there's one. Okay, there's two more. Okay, I think that's it. And a couple of shulkers, but those are easily dealt with. Let me just harvest this. And, where'd he go? I think he teleported outside. But okay, not too bad. A full block of manulian. Okay, that's going to save me a lot of time. Compressed iron. Nice. Niter, blitz rod, basalt rod. So the loot here is really good. And then now I can use this and just take all of the hardened glass really easily and harvest the rest of the tower. And as you know, dark ineffable glass lets you pass through it and not let mobs, which is really nice. It makes it really nice for mob farms, but I'm not sure if I need one right now. And there we go. The only remnant of the tower left. What's it called? The slab. The foundation, that's the word I'm looking for. And there's another one off over there. Let's see. It's not on the minimap yet, but they're pretty easy to spot. And as you can see, they give you a ton of resources, which is really nice. It's going to be very useful. So, the spark notes of this chapter is essentially the only goal is to reach the combat simulation and stand by for further instructions. So the whole point of this chapter is to essentially set up an infrastructure so that future tasks won't be as annoying. And of course, probably the main big thing here is pneumaticraft, AE2 storage, and some other stuff. Oh, power generation, that was the other big one. So industrial power. Now that is how we're meant to make flux ducts, is using the blessed HV wire connectors, which is a little annoying. But I think this is the only chapter that I might do out of order, because I want to just kind of skip to AE2, because once we have that, that should make everything go a lot easier. As you can see, all of these are a little annoying, but then once we have it set up and we can actually use AE2, that should make everything go a lot easier. So I went and cleared up my inventory. So the first thing we gotta do in the arid waste is process the red rock that is found in the canyon. Crush and pulverize it into dust and then run it through a sieve. The rock contains valuable minerals, some of which you can use to produce TNT. So first we're going to harvest a bunch of red rock. Yoink. Yeah, let's go for a couple stacks. Yeah, that's good enough. Should get us through for a while. Then I probably want to invest in a, what should call it? The RF Tools Builder to do some automatic coring for us. Alright, so first things first, take some iron rods, turn that into an iron stiffened mesh. Then we want to make an auto sifter. Never actually done one of these before, which will take a bunch of stuff. Stone rod, I think that's just cobblestone, right? That is. Stone axle, stone gears, which will take some more wood. So we're going to turn this into some sticks. Should be good enough. That way we can make 3 wooden gears. Take those wooden gears and combine it with stone rods. Not sure how much we're gonna actually need to make 1 stone axle. Then we need some compressed cobblestone. Do I have cobblestone? I think I used it all. Oh, there we go, compressed cobblestone, perfect. And 2 hoppers, 1 and 2. We need another chest. To make the second hopper and make 1 auto sifter. Never actually used this before. Every pack I played with Ex Nihilo didn't have it for some reason, and everyone would tell me, oh, that's a very useful item for doing your sifting. Let's go ahead and put you over here. Not actually sure how it works. Then we gotta take a bunch of our red rock cobblestone. We gotta beat this with a hammer to turn it into red sand. And then, do I just put this in here? No? How do I do this? Oh, maybe I have to add the mesh. No. How does this work? Well, this is one of those cases of reading the book explains the book. So you attach a water wheel here, then you put the sieve, not right there, where's my X? Put the sieve on top, now it's connected, then you add the mesh, then you add a source of water, and then I'll probably just like do this. I think that'll work, right? Maybe if I do like that. And then we block off this side. And it gets sifting. It's pretty slow though. Does it go any faster, or is that like it? Alright, so I got these set up, pretty much done. Throw your red dust in there. I figured out through some research you can actually use the auto sifter as a buffer for your items. So you can automate the process by pushing them into there, and he'll automatically place them inside. Now the only issue here is that it does do it a little awkwardly. I think it's because of how fast the hopper pushes the items out, which I don't really care to fix because it's not really something we're going to be using for a long time anyway. Let me pour those in here. And then I did get the really nice, what's the word, tip that if you put a chest on top of the sieves will automatically output into the chest, which is really nice. Now, this is the version of Minecraft where chests can't be right next to each other, so this is the best amount of coverage I can get, but we can build the accumulator later on, which should fix it. I'm not even sure how long we're going to be using this though, because it's like, I think the only thing we need out of this is to, what's the word, is the ability to make gunpowder, and we're probably going to make that obsolete pretty soon. So that is that chapter finished. finished and out of the way, let me store our red rock cobblestone in there for now, and take a look at the next chapter. Lube 'em up. Before you can move on to the next technological advance, you need to manufacture lubrication. Yes, you heard me, lube. To start off, you'll need a good supply of fish. Interesting. Alright, so after we have the resources fisher set up, then we need a centrifugal separator to separate the fish down into fish oil, and then a fractioning still to turn the fish oil into salt and lubricant. Then you can coat a compressed iron gear with lubricant in a fluid transposer to make lubricated gears. I can't read. This crafting component is used a lot, so don't neglect automating them. Good to know. Well, luckily the, kinetic dynamo is pretty cheap to craft, along with the water wheels, so I think I'm just gonna have to set up more of these, because one is like barely good enough just for doing the induction smelter. So I might as well do the thing over here. But ooh, it even gets enchantment books? That's crazy. This is actually a really good machine. Okay, so the last thing I should need is compressed iron. Perfect. So now if we come to our setup, it takes 4 machines. You take your fish and spin them real fast to make the oil, to get a little bit of salt. As you can see, there's the oil. The fish oil gets turned into lubricant, and then we have to take the compressed iron and put it into the compactor, and this is going to turn the compressed iron into the gear. The gear gets put into the fluid transposer, and we make lubricated gears. Perfect. And this is the only way to make the compressed iron gear. You can't use the immersive engineering thingamabob. So now that we can do that, we have lubricated gears. We can use this to make the arid waste idle. Wonder what that's for. We can use that to make item conduits, which is from Ender.io, which is pretty nice. I never really used Ender.io before until Dusty Hell, and I never knew how powerful they actually were, which is really nice. And interesting, okay, so to actually get the combat simulation portal block crafted, we're gonna make another multi-block, and then we need resources from this entire chapter. So nether brick, seared brick, capacitors, purple plastic, deep mob learning, suit covered redstone, 16 of these, and that'll make the combat simulation portal block. Interesting. Good to know. Now it looks like this is a pretty slow, wait, is this even working? Are you on? Ignored, servo. Okay, that might actually be an issue. See, I was hoping that if this only has fish, if I just slapped on a servo, it would just automatically pull. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Front, left, right, top, back. This has to be blue. There we go. Now it should work. So if I take these out, yeah, there we go. Perfect. I always forget that. Gotta make sure the output and input are on the right thing. So now that's gonna make more fish oil into there to make more salt, and then we need the salt to make the gunpowder. Luckily, we didn't need to make gunpowder to make the TNT to make the gears, because we were able to loot a good amount of compressed iron. But to keep But in order to keep progressing, we're going to need a little bit more compressed iron, and if I'm going to do that, I probably shouldn't do that in the skyblock area, so the items will just fall into the void. So now moving on, plastic production. You kind of dropped the ball on your first batch of plastic. It was brittle and flaky and generally just terrible. Luckily, you can reuse the brittle plastic to make a stronger type of plastic. The first step in this process is to refine oil into LPG. To refine the oil, you need 2 to 4 refineries. Okay, I do know how to do this already. Refineries made from compressed iron, pristine glass lenses. That's an interesting choice. Okay, so the next thing I think is a good thing to do, thermoelectric, because I was reading through the pneumaticraft stuff. That's going to take a lot of energy. Wait, does pneumaticraft take energy? No, they use pressure. Regardless though, I do want to build the thermoelectric generator, because then I can take down these water wheels and just connect these, and it should look a lot cleaner. Because I don't really like the water wheels, mostly because we're not getting enough power. And I want to have a unified electric grid to make it go a lot easier. So I think I should build the thermoelectric generator right here would be a good spot, and then we can run, because then we can run the power lines down this way, move down in this direction and that direction as well. And then to build this guy, we're going to need all of these machines. Radiator blocks, blocks of steel, seared tank, electrum coil. But most of this we already have because I tore down the tower, so it should actually be pretty easy. So let's go ahead and throw this up right here. Thermoelectric, oh, wrong one. Go up, cryogenic simulation, thermoelectric generator, done. And move this over here. Perfect. And let's get that built. And there we go. One thermoelectric generator. Missing fluid input. Not actually sure how this works. Oh, well, if I read the book, it would tell me. To see all the hot and cold liquid combinations that produce power, check out the uses of the machine blueprint. This item is not required to use the generator. Hardened fluid ducts are recommended. Okay, so blueprint, uses. Ah, here we go. So we can mix starlight and lava to produce 1800 Fe per tick. We can mix starlight and liquid blaze for 4500. Liquid starlight and blazing pyroetherium for 10,000. And that's it. Okay, so we use liquid starlight as fuel, and then we can mix it with lava, liquid blaze, or pyroetherium. What would be the easiest to produce? So I think the easiest one we can do is liquid blaze, because blaze powder is pretty easy to get right now, especially now that we're using the sieve, so we should have a lot of that. Then we just have to throw in the liquid starlight, so let me grab ourselves a bucket. So let's see, so we should be able to put liquid blaze into here. Then if we come out on the other side with a bucket of starlight, which I should be able to steal out of this one. There we go, liquid starlight. Gonna have to remember to put more crystals in that. Luckily we do have a ton of these. So we put the liquid starlight in this side. And take a look. We're producing power. And the power is going into the energy output hatch, which is storing 850,000 Fe. Pretty fast. And does it turn off when it's not in use? Looks like it does. 990 MB. 970. Yeah, so it's still getting used. I wonder, can we turn this off with redstone? A redstone signal will stop it from consuming liquid. Okay, we can. So let me make a lever. Should have some cobblestone in here. Lever. And do this. Machine stopped by incoming redstone signal. Perfect. Nice. Okay, so we're going to be able to use this to make our power, which means I can undo all of the immersive engineering wires. The only issue with that, though, is the flux duct is really annoying to craft, since we need charred terracotta, sanguine metal, and then we have to bless it with blood raven feather, aquamarine, nocturnal powder, and illumination powder. And I'm pretty low on both of these right now. Okay, so if you remember Pneumaticraft back in Dusty Hell, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take our oil and run it through the refinery to produce diesel, kerosene, gasoline, and LPG. Now, if I remember correctly, we did need some of this stuff for other things. Well, no, you could break it down further. We could sell it. It's a good liquid fuel. Regardless, though, I think all we have to do is take our oil and break it down into LPG. That's what we're going to be using it the most for, because we're going to combine that with the brittle plastic to make liquid plastic. And at least you do get, they're very generous with the craft. So a quarter bucket LPG plus 1 brittle plastic makes 2 buckets of liquid plastic. Then we can put that in the plastic mixer, and that produces, looks like, 8 pieces of plastic from 1 brittle plastic, which is really good. Ah, interesting. So if you want to make substrate and mechanism, you have to use liquid plastic for that. So we're going to need to produce quite a lot of liquid plastic. Okay, so there's the basic setup that we can manage right now. Here's our iron drum full of oil. I built a liquid hopper from Pneumaticraft. I'm a big fan of these liquid hoppers. They're hoppers, but for liquids. To pump it into the refinery. Now we're producing diesel, kerosene, gasoline, and LPG. Now the issue here is that if you want to if you want to break down oil efficiently, we need a lot more heat. But the basic air compressor just can't produce enough pressure to make this hot enough. So we can only produce LPG very, very slowly. Luckily, we can now put our brittle plastic in here. And I think we can produce just enough pressure off of this one. Let's see, the pressure is rising. For this guy to run, it needs 3.5 bar. And these basic air compressors kinda suck. They're not the best. But luckily, once we get to the liquid compressors, that's what they're called, right? The liquid ones, they run off of fuel compressor. That's a flux compressor. Liquid compressor, yep. Once we get access to our first pieces of plastic, we can upgrade these to the liquid versions, and we can run this off of different fuels, which work a lot better. Especially like the advanced liquid ones. Max pressure 20 versus the oh, there it is. Max pressure 20 versus max pressure of 5. Works a lot better. Now let's see. We're about at 3.5. Why isn't this working? Problem, heat, brittle plastic. Required temperature 250 degrees Celsius. That's gonna be annoying. Doesn't it also need the... So we need 3.5 bar and we need 250 degree heat. See, the issue you might think of is, oh, well, if this needs to be hot, can't I move this TPP next to the refinery because the refinery is hot? Yes and no. So they will share the heat, but since they both use heat to run, they just work less efficiently. So I'm just gonna have to add... Oops, okay. Well, that was a waste of the TPP. The Pneumaticraft security upgrade is quite cheap. Craft it. It'll save your machine and your time. Anyways, so now I rebuilt the thermopneumatic processing plant. We have a vortex tube attached to it, so now it's going to reach the required temperature. Luckily the brittle plastic didn't get destroyed. Now it does have to go up to 250 degrees Celsius. I'm not actually sure if we can reach 250 degrees Celsius with just the basic air compressor. So I'm going to have to let this run for a while and see if we can reach that. Well, as always, the solution is just add some upgrades. That way we can produce way more air. And now we're running the recipe at 382 degrees Celsius. And we have 6 buckets of liquid plastic. But now we have to actually take the liquid plastic, and we have to put this into a plastic mixer, which is going to craft from more cobalt. Phenomenal. Dye mixer, okay, that's pretty easy. Just the cobalt that's going to be annoying. Cobalt large plates. 16 of it to be exact. Isn't that fun? Oh, that's interesting. So, as of recording, I did update the pack to the latest version, and he must have updated the recipes, because I didn't realize this. So, if you notice from my prior episode, in order to make the ardite and cobalt, you needed 4 rich slag. Now it's changed to just 1, but you need these pristine ocular lenses. Interesting. I like this. This is a lot cheaper. It does change the ore, so now to make ardite use copper, and to make cobalt use silver. Block of lapis. Okay, buddy. That one's pretty expensive. But this one's about the same. I like that. And then to make these, you just have to use the chisel on the white pristine ocular lens. So you have to spend more time to make the ocular lenses, but those are pretty cheap. But then you could just make ardite ore much cheaper. I know. Now I'm out here in the lunar plane. Oh wait, can I? You can. Nice. Gathering some of this blessed blood leaves because we can turn this into red dye. Pretty useful. Because I need to make some red plastic so we can upgrade our compressors to the liquid kind. Then we can run them off of LPG and they're a lot more efficient. Because if I remember anything from Dusty Hell, let me jump over here. Once we have liquid compressors, it's very easy to make a stable, infinite LPG loop just off of those compressors. Void base. Now, I did go ahead and craft ourselves the dye mixer because I wanted to see how this works, but it's going to be a little annoying. So I guess the way this guy functions is like you put rose red in here. So now it has a little bit of rose red. You can put a little bit of lapis. Now it has a little bit of blue. And if I grab our cactus green, put that in here. So now it has a little bit of those dyes. But to actually make the dye you want, you have to put in the lenses. So we can actually test this by going to our machine over yonder and taking out the white lens. So now this is there a white dye? I'm not actually sure. So if we put white, there you go. Makes white artificial dye. And it looks like it made 3. So we put in 3. 3 comes out. Interesting. White artificial dye, and then you use it just like white dye. So if I want to use this to make colors, I'm going to have to make every single colored lens, which is going to cost quite a lot of pristine glass. We can come out over here, we can put the rose red in there, put some blue, put some green, then we can make red plastic. It's that easy. Now we could take the red plastic and we can make a variety of items, but I'm mostly interested in the liquid compressor, and then later the advanced liquid compressor. In the meantime though, it looks like we have to delve back into blood magic in order to use the ritual of magnetism to pull the ores from underneath the arid waste. I've never actually done this before, and it does mention that we should probably go to the tier 3 blood altar to get the ritual diviner, because it is really useful for setting up the rituals, but I forget how to get to tier 3. Tier 3, actually, if we check this guy, blood magic, tier 3, done. Looks like that, and if I situate it over... So annoying, man, I really should have... If I right click here. Okay, it looks like this. So we're going to need more ritual stone, dirt, and glowstone. So really not that... What's the word? It's not difficult, it's just time consuming, because I have to use the ritual dagger over and over again to make these blank runes, and the blank runes are pretty expensive in terms of LP. Alright, so that took a while. I realized we can actually make the Hellfire Forge. What I forgot though is that I need to do this thing, Demon Will, to actually get the crystal things. What are they called? Yeah, to get the demonic will so we can actually craft the important stuff like the sentient sword. To actually make this go a lot easier, because I need to upgrade these runes. I need to upgrade them to the self-sacrifice ones so we can get more blood for the LP. Regardless though, it does work. And to make it go a lot faster, I did make the coagulated blood block. Now if you right click it with a heartbeat, you get regen 4. So now that should make it go a lot faster for this, because we regen really fast. Take these items. Thank you. Put the final one piece of pyrethium. Bam! All of our elemental inscription tools. The writing is on the wall. Now we just take these, combine it with a stick and some diamonds, then we can make the ritual diviner. Oh right, I forgot the builder needed one of these. Good to know. Where's my food? There we go. See, that's how you know a mod pack is very well put together, because of how well it integrates all of the different functions across the mods. It's not just like a kitchen sink type of thing. So now we can go ahead and combine these into the ritual diviner. And that one is out of the way. Go back over here to the arid waste. Go back to the God shall provide. Now we need to set up the ritual of magnetism. So to do this, we need 16 ritual stone, a weak activation crystal, and master ritual stone. Weak activation crystal. I forget how I get these. Weak activation. Okay, so weak activation crystal is made with tier 3 and 10,000 LP from a lava crystal, and a lava crystal is any glass, obsidian, lava, a blood orb, and we can use any blood orb, good, and a diamond. So honestly, not too bad, not too bad. But it looks like we're also going to need a magician's blood orb to craft the master ritual stone, which is made from a sealing sigil, which is made from nocturnal powder, stardust, and pristine glass lens. So honestly, not that bad. You know, it's funny, I didn't think I'd have to be crafting this many pristine lenses, but I need them for so many different crafting things that I need a lot more glass. So there's that. So now we need nocturnal powder and stardust. 1 stardust and 3 nocturnal powder. So now we should be able to turn this into the thingamabob. What is this called? Sealing sigil. Not actually sure what that's actually for in Astral Sorcery. This one takes a lot longer to craft. And there we go. Another flare. Still don't know what those are for. Now we gotta put this on here, so I need to grab some coagulated blood to make some coagulated blood block. And where is all of my coagulated blood? There we go. One of these, one heartbeat. Place you, place that. Left click, sealing sigil, and make sure we have enough LP in here. And there we go, one Magician Blood Orb. And now we can use this to make the Master Ritual Stone, which will take more Ritual Stone, which is pretty annoying. Luckily, we do get it in groups of 4. And it's not too expensive, it's just annoying to get. We're taking a little detour. I crafted some of these rudimentary snares because I really need to craft a Divination Sigil from Blood Magic so we can actually measure how much LP is in the network. So do that, and then hit him with the Steel Cleaver. And I don't think he dropped any. Throw at a monster and then kill them to attain their demonic will. Well, he did do the thing, so it should work. Let me try again. Yeah, see? And it's not dropping it. It should be dropping it, right? Throw at a monster and then kill them to get the demonic will. Shouldn't they have a debuff when it works, though? Unless there's a different way I need to get demonic will? I'm not actually sure about that. Let's see, let me try it one more time. And then I could throw both. Okay, he has the debuff now. There we go, demonic will, and now try with this guy. Now he has it, and slay. There we go, demonic will. Now we can use this to make, how do I make the sword? There we go, the sentient sword, which does take the petty tartaric gem, but now that we have the will, we can craft this. So then we take the demonic will and add that stuff. So demonic will goes in here, in there, no, in here. Gold, lapis, glass, redstone. And that'll make the petty tartaric gem. Then we can use the petty tartaric gem to make the demon sword by combining that with, oh, so you need 2 of these and an iron sword, but that's pretty easy. So now take the gem, put it in there. That's gonna make another one, and then I'll need some more will to actually combine this into the sword. Oh wait, no, looks like we have enough. Perfect. So now we can get demonic will, and I can make my divination sigil. Divination sigil, because that's going to take arcane ashes, which will take, oh, 0. I think I can make this right now then, because we have access to gunpowder. So it should be redstone, white dye, gunpowder, coal, throw in my petty gem, and this will make ourselves some arcane ashes. Then I can draw on the floor like that. Then take the arcane ashes, and I need to combine this with a blank slate and redstone. And the blank slate is just charred terracotta, which I should have more. There was something else I'm supposed to do to make this work. Okay, I'm dumb. I just did it wrong. So you have to put in, I think, the redstone first and then the gem. And I did that completely out of order. I didn't even put the right thing. So redstone, no. Blank slate, no. Yep, there we go. The items come out. Grab my ash. So redstone first. Okay, now the blank slate. And it works. Ooh, the scary spinning PNG of death. And there we go. Divination Sigil. And now we can see we have 21,000 LP in the network, which I believe we need. This guy, this ritual costs 5,000 LP plus 50 LP per block retrieved. So I think 20,000 should be enough, depending on how big the size is. Alright, so I stored up 37,000 LP into the network because I mathed it out, and it looks like to do the 7 radius will cost 22,000 LP. So let's see if this actually works. So we want to do the Ritual of Magnetism, blood magic. That's the altars. How do I see what it looks like? Like the placement. I thought there was a way to automatically place these. Okay, so I can swap it with these. Do I just place this guy and it builds it? Oh, it does. Nice. That makes it really easy. I remember someone told me before, when I last used this mod. Okay, then where does the iron go? Iron. The following blocks will work. The ritual can have the range increased by placing various blocks under the master ritual stone. So it goes under here. Like that. And then how does this... Oh, you just have to right-click this guy, right? Oh, right. I have to use the weak activation crystal to turn it on. Completely forgot about that. Okay, now it should work. So we take this and... Nothing's happening. A rush of energy flows through the ritual. Okay, now it's working. Current essence didn't change. I don't see anything happening. It is the ritual of magnetism. What am I doing wrong? Okay, I guess it worked. I went, what's the word? I was looking at a YouTube video to see if I did something wrong, but I guess it functions just fine. But it did only pull the 3x3. Was there something else I'm supposed to do? Ritual of magnetism. I put the iron block. Oh, maybe... Okay, what I think is happening, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, it pulls a 3x3 chunk, but the iron block lets it look in a wider radius downward. Right? I think that's what's happening. So now we could take our... I don't want this one, I want the other one. This one. That way you can quickly mine this. And why can't I mine this? Oh, so this is why it specifically mentions you need a mechanism to drop TNT. You can't just mine it with a pickaxe. Interesting. Okay, so we also need the block protector, which is this guy. Let me bookmark that. And we're going to need a dispenser and some TNT. Interesting. So we have to build a device, kind of like what I did in clay block to harvest the terracotta. Okay, so let's see how this works. I'm guessing it's similar to the shield projector that I used before. So if we do this, we will have to get some power, so I might as well grab the, make another kinetic dynamo and a water wheel to power this. But let's see, so said you take, okay, that breaks it. That turns it around. So how do I use this? With the block protector, you can protect blocks from being harvested or affected by explosions. Use the sneak select mode on the smart wrench to select the protector and then just select all the blocks you want to protect. The maximum distance is 10. Note that the block protector will need a little bit of power per tick for every block it protects. Okay, range of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Focus mode, wrench mode, focus. Focus mode? Selected block. 1. Okay, just like that. So now we select the ritual. Okay, that should be all of it. So now it should, okay, blocks protected. Now we need a little bit of power, and then I have to set up the dispenser and the TNT above it to make it fall down and break it. And at this range, the TNT shouldn't hit this, so it should be fine. And here's the very simplistic design that I came up with. Now, I did want to use the redstone receivers from RF Tools, so I don't have to build, you know, this tower of redstone. But sadly, you need ender pearls to make these, and we don't have access to ender pearls as of yet, so this will have to do. So the kinetic dynamo powers the block protector, at least it should be. Oh, it must be using, what's the word? The kinetic dynamo must barely give enough RF to the block protector, which is why it's stuck at 53. I think that's what's happening. Anyways, so we should be able to just hit this button. TNT falls down. And why did it go twice? Why did 2 signals go? And why did this break? So one of these ritual stones broke. That's not supposed to happen. Well, that's annoying. Grab this, put that back here. Did I not mark this one? Did I not mark these? Is that the issue? Huh, maybe I just didn't mark those two. That's weird. Okay, but we should be able to just turn this back on. So do this. You feel that these runes are not configured correctly. What? It worked just fine a second ago. Oh, I'm missing 2 of these, I think. One there. And one, yeah. Huh. Well, when in doubt, double the amount of power generation. So now this is actually producing a surplus, so I think it's going to function correctly this time. At least I'm hoping it does. And I did add the accumulator, so hopefully it does reach. So let's go ahead and reactivate this guy. A rush of energy flows through the ritual. So now we should see the blocks appear magically. I'm hoping. You know, I waited last time. Oh, see, there it goes. Now the blocks are appearing. It's a bit slow, but hey, it does work automatically. We're getting mostly Certus. Is there nothing else in this dimension? See, they explain it right here. Certus quartz, incredibly hard and can only be mined via explosions. Oh, okay, so it's really only Certus and charged Certus that spawns in this area. So there's nothing really to look for otherwise. But now let's see if this works. Huh, why didn't this work? See if we can go up there. Wait, why is that one? Oh, one of the redstone is missing. That's why it did twice. Wait. That doesn't make sense. How is redstone missing? Do I have one? Did it get blown up by the TNT at that range? I mean, I guess it kinda makes sense. I thought that's too far. Okay, anyway, we can test it just by breaking this guy and putting it back. And let's see if anything else breaks. Nope, looks pretty solid. And it goes in there. Nice. Charged and regular. It's a little inefficient though. It's not amazing, mostly because the TNT is only going to hit the top and we're leaving the rest. But it only uses, what, 40 LP from the blood network to run? So I guess it's not... It's inefficient TNT-wise, unless there's a different way we can get Certus quartz later on. And no, looks like it can only be done... Wait, why is Creeperhead here? Creeperhead. Why does Creeperhead have use in exploding? Anyways, though, it does get us quite a lot of Certus, which is pretty good. Is that all of it? I thought I had more. Oh, it was split between charged and otherwise. Gotcha. Okay, so next on the list, Stockholm Syndrome. Okay, my little test subject, time to show us what you've been up to down there. What are you doing? Stop bashing those rocks together and listen. Uh-huh. The task after this one is all about infrastructure, but before we can teach you about logistics, you need to send up some samples of the ores you acquired at the barrier. Build the Emedron tablet to exchange items and liquids, set the pickup and drop-off location as an inventory or tank, use the charging station, and we will give you logistics knowledge after you send us some charged Certus quartz. And this knowledge will be required before you can make the ME controller. Nice. Wait, what is this? Network IO port from Pneumaticraft. Interesting. Don't think I've ever crafted that before. And then, okay, so we use the charging station to charge the Emedron tablet. The Emedron tablet is this thing, which is not that expensive to craft, although I've never actually used it. Yeah, so you can see it mostly just takes plastic, more plastic, and air canister. So we just need a little bit of ardite and some more compressed iron, so I'll take some TNT. Or I could check the structure over there and see if I can find some more. It'll also get me some demon will as well, and it should work out pretty fine. Okay, so we're going to need 2 more red plastic, and I should have one right here. So we need 1 red plastic for the charging station. Then the Amidron tablet takes 7 gray plastic. And then the GPS tool takes another 4 red. And I think that's everything. Air canister doesn't need it. GPS doesn't need... Well, it needs 4, right? So that's 6 in total. And that's what I got. Perfect. And we did manage to get another 19 compressed iron ingots from the other structure, so I don't have to make more, which is nice. Lets me skip making the pressurized crafting thingamabob. So let's go ahead and make ourselves this glass, the GPS tablet. It's mostly used for the drones, I think. I don't think it has a use outside of that. Oh, I need redstone torch, which will take a stick. It's annoying that the treated sticks don't work, but that doesn't matter too much. Redstone torch. GPS tool. Oh, the air canister will take redstone and the pressure tube, which is more ardite. Okay, so the ardite is finished. So now we can take this and make our pressure tubes. Now we can make the charging station. And we can make the air canister and make the Amidron tablet. Now then I do need a chest for this. Advancement made. Better than villagers. And we have to hook it up to a source of pressure. So we'll just steal one of these guys. Move this one. Oh, right. Because of the speed upgrades, it ate all the coal really fast. Okay, take the coal out of there. Put that in here. Tablet. So that's going to quickly charge the tablet. Then we'll put the chest right here for now. And I think that's all we had to do, right? Because then you just have to right-click the inventory to allow it to provide items to vendors. Right-click a tank to allow it to provide fluid. So this has a little bit of charge, which is good. Okay, that was weird. I thought I just duplicated it. So shift right-click this. So now we want to give, where's the thing? Place order, oh, there it is. 32 charged Certus. So we're gonna put charged Certus in here. And I think it matters that you put the right amount. So 32 charged Certus, right click. So now we take this, right click that, scroll down, scroll up. It's a little annoying. There we go. And click. How do I do this? Order the items in the basket. A drone will come to retrieve your payment and another to deliver your purchased items. Oh, you right click it. That's what you have to do. Okay, so you right click to put it in the basket, place the order, and then it said a drone will come to retrieve the items. Oh, there it is. Amidron delivery drone. So now he's going to take it. Okay, he teleports out. And then another drone should give us the knowledge. And there it is. What's it doing? Oh, it already gave it to me. Nice. Unlocked logistics. You ponder the contents of the book and find yourself enlightened. We also got the network Network visualization tool, AE-NetVis tool. I don't know what this is for. Oh, cool. It's for coloring stuff. Render, colors, interesting. Never used this mod before. Have no idea what that's for. But now we have it. Logistics and you. And that takes us to logistics. Anyways, this episode has gone on quite long enough. Next episode, we're going to dive into AE2 and start setting up on-demand automation for all of this, and probably start redoing a little bit of the base just to make it flow a little bit smoother. Not sure how we're gonna automate like the LP network or astral sorcery, but everything else, such as pneumaticraft, immersive engineering, and thermal expansion, can all be automated pretty easily. It'll just take a bit of time, so we'll work on that. But as always, I'm your host, Hamas28, and I'll see you guys next time.